Hey guys, Zach Ginn, Flip with Rick here. So today I want to break down the secrets of driving for dollars. Now this isn't some cliche thing. I'm going to show you and break down the 9 things you really need to be looking for in your property. So if you notice behind me, this was actually a post from our Flip with Rick Instagram account that got a lot of likes and a lot of traction, and a lot of people really liked it. So I wanted to do a quick YouTube breakdown of this. So I listed the 9 top things you need to look out for, especially when you're driving for dollars. And I want to break down each one of those things so you can understand how to get more driving for dollars deals. Carousel Instagram video that I did, and actually posted it today. So that's why I wanted to break it down. I got a lot of comments, got a lot of people just liking it, so that's why I wanted to do a breakdown of it. So the number one thing you have to do here, especially when you're looking for driving for dollars, especially in my area, in the South, look for tall, unkept grass, especially when you're driving. Tall, unkept grass, what does this mean? This means that somebody does not take care of the property. Either they don't have the money to do it, they don't care, it's too much of a hassle, or the property's vacant. Now, a lot of these reasons can lead to a vacant property, and vacant properties are amazing. That means they don't live in the property, they don't have sometimes they'll have an emotional attachment, but mostly they won't have an emotional attachment because they don't live in the property anymore, which is great. So tall grass, guys. This is going to be an easy indicator if someone is willing to sell, or you get a higher chance of someone wanting to sell and wanting a cash offer on their property. Number 2, you're going to look for rust stains outside. So what do I mean by this? You can see by the picture behind me, we're going to be looking for rust. Now, rust is if someone's using well water, that stuff rusts, and you don't want well water on the property. Sometimes a little bit gets on it, or you have to put a solution in there to make the well water not rust, especially when it hits the house. And if there's rust everywhere, it's a problem. Either that means they don't have the money to get the solution for it, they don't care enough, maybe they want to get rid of the property, or again, like I'm going to say every single time, it can be vacant. So maybe if the property is vacant, that's great. So we're going to go to number 3. We're going to be looking at the windows of the properties. Now, looking at the windows of the properties is very important. So I live in Florida, and you might not know this, but Florida has hurricanes. So when I'm driving around, September, October during hurricane season, and I see boarded up windows, I probably should be looking at the NOAA radar, looking at the news, because that means a hurricane is coming in full force. That is not good. And boarded up wooden houses, hurricane shutters. If I'm looking at roofs too, people are just preparing for the worst. And if I'm looking at the windows, they're boarded up wooden. Now, most snowbirds, when they come down here, they're going to board up everything and then just go. That means the property is vacant, which is great. So if you look at the windows, right now we're talking in January. There's no hurricanes in January. The water's too cold out there in the Atlantic. So if I see boarded up hurricane shutters, windows, especially now in January, there's no hurricane. That means the property is vacant or someone doesn't want to deal with it, and that's a great driving for dollars tip to look out for there. Now, another thing we got to look out for, guys, is the doors and the exterior of the property. Now, why do I mix these things together? So if a property owner doesn't want to paint the outside of the property and they just don't care, don't have the money, everything like that, that means the door is going to look rough. The paint on the door is going to look bad. Maybe there is some code violation or an eviction notice on the door, and that's why you got to look at the doors and look at the paint on the outside. So if the paint looks all worn out, torn up, bad, that's great. That's a great write it down, driving for dollars lead. You can either put that in your voice memos or something, especially when you're with an Apple iPhone when you're looking for driving for dollars. The next thing, guys, we got to look at is expensive toys. Look for expensive toys out there when you're driving for dollars. What do I mean by this? I mean RVs, cars, jet skis, boats, things like that. If you have a $100,000 house and the guy or gal has $60,000 of just toys out there, they're not making good financial decisions. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the guy's a millionaire and he just likes to live modestly. But if they have all these toys out here, that is not good for them. And if there's a combination of the factors, so if there's tall grass and rust and there's just expensive jet skis everywhere, you know the guy is not spending enough money, and he might not have enough money to pay for everything, and he might want to get rid of the house, liquidate it, and sell it quickly for an issue that they have. So in my experience, don't call every single driving for dollars lead that you have that is only with the expensive toys, but if there's an issue with the roof, with the paint, and you see mold, and then the jet ski's there, you're probably going to want to call it, and the windows looks all torn up. So next, we're actually going to be looking for junk on the outside. Now, what do I mean when I say we're going to be looking for junk? Junk. So if someone moves out of the property and you're driving around for driving for dollars and you see mattresses, furniture, things of that nature, trash bags, just pure junk on the outside of the swale, that means someone most likely is either doing spring cleaning or they're moving out of the property. Now, this is great for us. So they either means that the seller is leaving and they're moving, which means maybe they want to sell the property, or two, they evicted a tenant out of the property and they're probably sick of the whole landlord process, the seller is, and we should really call the owners and see if they're interested in a cash offer for the property. So that leads to it. So if there's junk there, that means the property most likely will be vacant, which ultimately is where we want to be, and hopefully we're looking for signs of that. There's vacant lists, but driving for dollars gives us the best success against competition. Number 7 here, we're going to be looking at the condition of the roof and the shingles of the property. So driving around, look at the roof. You're going to look for just shingles that are loose, shingles that are missing, possible roof damage. We're just going to be looking at things like that, especially. So the last thing we're actually going to have to look for here is you're going to have to check out the mailboxes. Now, if you saw a post I did, I was just posting when I was driving for dollars one day, just heading to the gym. I saw two mailboxes that were just, maybe the neighborhood kids took a baseball bat and swung them out, but they were detached from the actual pole of the mailbox. And bet your dollar, I called them and tried to get a deal from them. So look for the mailboxes. If the mailbox is like metal and there's rust everywhere, that could indicate someone's not taking care of the property, and we got to call them. So look at mailboxes. If there's no mailbox, no mail receptacle in the area, you definitely need to call that lead no matter what. So that is my tips for driving for dollars. Those are the real secrets here. Now I'm going to give you one of the last secrets here. So the average Joe driving for dollars, guys, deal machine app, blah, 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 blah. He's only looking for properties that are completely distressed. Like there is so much wrong with the property. Out of the 9 conditions that I just told you, they have to meet 8 of the 9. The roof has to be bad, there has to be mold, there has to be tall grass, everything. And they'll only call on those. Now, the secrets for us, Flip with Rick guys, that they're not going to know because we're going to keep this video a secret, right? If there's only 2 of those conditions met that I just listed, you're going to have to call that lead and put it in. Not 1, 2. And if it's something crazy, like the mold is insane or a condition's insane, I would call them 2. So 1 out of 2, got to call. 2 is, that's a great driving for dollars lead. Make sure you get that immediately. 1, you got to look at it from an outside angle and make your choice. But if there's 2, you definitely have to put that into your CRM and skip trace it. So there's the options what you can do for driving for dollars. So either you can do the deal machine app, which, it's tad pricey, but not too bad. It really does what it is meant for, and it's really efficient, and most guys do really well with it, especially bird dogs. But, if you're on a budget, what I'd recommend, if you have an iPhone, Apple product, you go to your voice memos app. It automatically, if you have LTE, it's going to look at your address and it's going to write the street name on there in the Apple voice memo. So do that. If you don't have an Apple product, I recommend you just do a voice memo, say 123 Main Street, Rust, or put a quick note in there, and then you have 40 to 50 of those leads. Upload in the Excel, cross-reference them with your property appraiser data, and then skip trace them. You use a free service if you want, or a paid service. I think People Finder and White Pages have been the best for the free ones, so you're going to have to do that. And then cold call with the scripts that we provide you, and you're going to get some deals, guys. So these are the driving for dollars secrets. Please Don't tell anyone about it. Zach Ginn, Flip the Rig, signing out.